Alright, what is going on YouTube? Slam versus Sitaux, the last set remaining from the round of 16s of Red Bull Wololo 5 qualifiers over here in this dark morning hour. It is 7:30 a.m. over here for me, so I am a little bit tired, so apologies if my casting is even more so potato than usual. Anyways, we're gonna have Haboob and then closed as the home maps of Slam. Sitaux will be rocking with Aftermath and Acclivity. Magyars, Tatars, Britons, Saracens, Khmer, and Huns are available for Sitaux, whereas Slam was able to yoink the Vikings, Mayans, and Aztecs as well. He also has Teutons, Franks, and Bulgarians to team up with his civilizations. Let's go for game number 1. These are recorded games, but they weren't shared before, so just like you would have it for Hidden Cup, for example, you have recorded games shown for the first time. So, oops. Right, we are good with that, and it's a best of 5. So, welcome to the first game over here, which is Runestones, the Arabia equivalent of the Red Bull Wololo series. You're gonna have Sitaux as Khmer on the right side in yellow, and we're gonna have Slam as Red Vikings. So it looks like he didn't go for Aztecs at the end. He's gonna go with the Vikings choice, and we will have a stable opening for Sitaux and archer range for Slam. Now, here's the deal with Khmer. For the first time, it kind of feels awkward, because I was thinking about something like Saracens maybe for a very aggressive Arabia game, or Huns for Cav Archers, but if you think about Khmer, if you assume that your opponent is going to take Vikings, which have an insane eco, Khmer have just as good of an eco as Vikings do. So maybe the concept here for Sitaux is that he knows exactly his opponent is going to take Vikings, might as well go for Khmer, which will have an amazing economy and might be able to match up against Vikings well here. Because that's the main problem when you're fighting Vikings. If you're not actively killing them, you will just get outboomed. Speaking of actively killing something, here comes the first scout from Sitaux trying to push this villager. There's already a second scout out here. So, looks like Sitaux is going to take on the initiative. And while Slam is definitely working towards walling himself, and he has a pretty easy time doing so, one thing is sure. The mobility advantage will be on the side of Sitaux. He's opening with scouts, but I assume a range is coming up for skirms in a matter of moments. Indeed. There is a middle as well for the hunt. It's worth pointing out that Sitaux is delaying his upgrades quite a bit on the eco, so he really wants to play a little bit more aggressive in this one. Whereas for Slam, he's sitting back booming pretty much. Massing archers back at home, and just trying to defend with spearmen until he finishes his walls, which should be done in a matter of moments. So Sitaux won't really have a chance to get in here. Slam really is playing defensive here. But this could backfire quite badly as well, because Khmer will have just as good of an economy, and there's gonna be some skirms arriving soon to push the villagers off from the berries to pick off the spearmen. In fact, Sitaux, you see he's sending in the first skirm already. It's all about just trying to be a little bit more disruptive. He's also trying to pick off this scout. Slam so far, nice with defense, but behind this one, he's got quite a lot of idle time on those villagers. He isn't able to get horse color, neither does Sitaux, so both of these players will have some inefficiency in their farming as we get the first skirms out. Sitaux also grabbed early fletching here, so these guys do mean business, and now Slam will be forced to retreat. One of the good things about Khmer here is that they have a lot more unit diversity than Vikings do. So Vikings are so heavily focused on archers, and they have a pretty hard tech switch to do when it comes to dealing with skirms. That's the main problem of Vikings when it comes to these Empire Wars 1v1s. If you go heavy on skirmishers, Vikings will have a tough time. They can add knights, obviously, but those are not really amazing, and against a good player who can snipe mangonels, you could really have a tough time. Sitaux is potentially going to deny the archer range here. Looks like he's not committing to that. He's a little bit afraid of units popping, or maybe potentially getting surrounded. But one thing is sure, he could have potentially tried denying that archer range, which would have been massive. A third range coming in here for Slam, a little bit unorthodox of a play as he's about to click up to Castle Age. And as I mentioned, this is the power of Khmer here. You will have just as good of an economy as Vikings do, if not better. So, skirms for now, trying to deny that house rewalling, but that isn't going to be successful anytime soon. Slightly faster Castle Age here for Slam. On the other hand, he doesn't really have the army to fight Sitaux, who is slowly walling himself. He's walled on the right, and he will soon be walled on the left. So, Now the scouts will start pushing the berries, but it's all about the skirms denying these. It doesn't seem like it's much because it's just a couple of berries, but still the fact that you have 5 villagers consistently gathering food here is very nice. So these skirms, if they just harass the villagers on the berries, that's already value for Sitaux in this one. So far no villagers were lost. Slam is playing quite defensive, and it looks like he will go straight to the base of Sitaux here with a counterattack, who is going to be fully walled by that time. Slam adding a stable here for knights. Sort of expected, but that's the direction that you do not wish to go with Vikings, to be honest. mYi.Sitaux, thank you so much for the 7 months of resub, I appreciate that, welcome back. Slam, looks like he's going to abandon his berries, goes for the defense upgrade as well on his archers. That may not be the best choice, because he's about to reach Castle Age, and I'm not sure if he can afford crossbow and botkin at the same time. On the other hand, Sitaux is still 1 stable, 1 range, so he's not adding another production building from either. He actually went for a defensive tower on the gold. That's, I think, a good choice here because it's so close to his walls. Obviously, this will make his chances of adding town centers much harder, but come on. This is going to give him safety, and I feel like at this point Sitaux just wants to play safe. Castle Age is in for Slam, he's arriving with the crossbows. Looks like he can actually squeeze in both upgrades, which is pretty nice. He won't have enough resources for eco upgrades though. Farland Mitch, thank you so much for the 8 months of resub, I appreciate that a lot as well. Sitaux going for the second layer walls. I would play probably very similarly to what Sitaux is doing right now. Just play super safe and defensive. However, it looks like he wasn't expecting a crossbows from this direction. That's -2 villagers coming out here. And a second TC will be added as well for Slam. Looks like he caught the start a little bit better. Lead skirm on the way for Sitaux. But that's quite a lot of crossbows, and they do have botkin plus even +1 defense. Whereas for Sitaux, he's gonna have botkin and the lead skirm, but no +2 defense. Looks like he isn't going to try and surround this army, just bring in everything he's got to take this fight. Now, Slam needs to be careful here, because overcommitting could easily make him lose his entire army, and that could even things out really fast. Still, Sitaux has lost most of his scouts over here, as now the elite skirms come in, and this is what I was referring to. This could be an awful situation here for Slam. He's idling the eco of Sitaux a little bit, but if you lose your entire army, that's a disaster. Now, Sitau's got 2 sneaky villagers hiding behind the walls, and I don't think Slam has seen them. It looks like Sitaux may have tried blocking that army with that scout from the other side, and now it looks like Slam is going to disengage. That's the good decision here, I believe. Currently, 2 villagers ahead, plus he's got hand card, so the Viking eco is going to start rolling now, and it's 3 TCs. So this is the moment where Sitaux is gonna have to make something happen. Because at this point, he's gonna get outboomed, so typical Vikings game. You just have such a great economy that if your opponent isn't actively killing you, you are just going to steamroll him. By the way, there was a hole on Slam walls here the whole time, so Sitaux could have gotten in with the scouts if he actually was looking for that. There is knights coming in, and I kind of feel like Slam right now is 1 step ahead of Sitaux in every possible way. Defensive siege workshop as well. For Slam, he probably wanted to go for a forward one, but just wanted to drop it here for safety so that he can deal with those skirms. And now Sitaux adding his own knights as well, but those don't have bloodlines, those don't have +2 defense, so really they will just melt like butter to the crossbows, and that is a massive W for Slam over here. He's just absolutely eradicating that army. He's got the +1 defense on those knights, which is just enough to tank skirmisher fire and then go deal with the skirms. Or skirms? What am I talking about? As I said, it's morning for me. So, Khmer Scorpions, great addition here with 8 range. They're able to match the range of those crossbows. The problem is that Slam will just mass like 5 or 6 knights and jump on those Scorpions. There is no tools for Sitaux right now to stop knights from jumping on his Scorpions. And those Scorps will go down really easily. Bloodlines on the way for Sitaux. I think it would have been more profitable for Sitaux in the long run if he went for second stable and just went for mass knights. Because then with elite skirm support plus some Scorpions, he could have overrun those crossbows. Now look at the Scorpion micro here, as there is going to be 1 Scorpion for 1 Mangonel trait here. Those are having 8 range, and the Mangonels do have just 7. So technically you can out micro Mangonels with that, although it's a bit of a playing with fire style situation. But, oh boy, this is looking rough, to be honest, for Sitaux. This is why people are saying that Vikings are so overpowered in Empire Wars. As I said, they don't even need to be aggressive, they can just sit back and boom and no one can match their economy. Maybe Chinese eco, or even without the extra villagers, the cheaper techs, the longer lasting farms, or something like Khmer could maybe match it. But you see that if you just leave Vikings to boom, they are just going to outboom you like crazy. 71 villagers to 50 crits, or the 20 villagers lead. The good news for Sitaux is that Slam doesn't have a lot on food, which means that Slam is not progressing towards Imp just yet. But if Slam actually adds 10 more on food, he's gonna have Arbalests in the next 8 minutes or so. Here come the Knights, and as expected, the Knights will jump on the Scorpion. Slam playing crystal clean so far, and he's sort of stomping his opponent here, even getting a nice shot in with the Mangonels. I just don't see this one happening for Sitaux. He's behind in army numbers by a massive margin, he's behind in eco, and his unit composition is also clearly inferior compared to the one of Slam. Slam knows that he can commit to this one. That's a nice Mangonel shot though, and maybe a good Mangonel shot could change things, but you see that Sitaux just wanted to go for the lead trick here, hoping that it can swing something back in his favor. We're looking into 104 population versus 60 situation, and that means that it seems more and more likely that Slam is going to take game number 1 over here. Indeed, Sitaux calls it. Slam takes game number 1 against Sitaux. It is definitely one of the better maps for Slam, because you got sort of an old-time player, someone who is very, very proficient on Arabia, and this map is basically like the old Arabia. So this may not be completely unexpected, but definitely very, very well played from Slam in this one. Just to compare, by the way, in the previous Red Bull Wololo 4 qualifiers, he actually lost 4-0 to Valas in the final round. So that's definitely an improvement now for him. Very, very clean gameplay. He's going to end up losing Vikings, and his opponent will lose Khmer over here. Runestones is in the hand of Slam over here. Quick look at the stats, but I don't think there is much to observe over here. Just look at this. 2,500 more resources for Slam. That sort of explains the whole story. Also the KD, sort of self-explanatory. It's a almost 2.0 KD over here. APMs were pretty close for those that actually want to look into this one. It was more about the fact that Sitaux had to make a defensive tower here, which means that he wasn't able to add additional town centers immediately. Why does it say 5 games played? Because I'm Potato, and I didn't actually set this one up. It's a best of 5. So the tower here obviously made it harder for Sitaux to add additional TCs. Then the cross was breaking in, picking off some villagers, and as I said, it's just Vikings eco. And this is where we have to talk about the fact that Sitaux has let Vikings, Aztecs, and Mayans all slip into the hands of Slam, and I mentioned that at the beginning, that I feel like that's a dangerous domain. Vikings and Aztecs are so powerful in Empire Wars that you probably don't want to let both of those fall into the hands of the opponent. We also have to keep in mind, though, that if you take a look at the draft, Ethiopians was the first pick of Sitaux, and it got sniped by Slam. There is a very legitimate chance that Sitaux wanted to play Ethiopians on Runestones, but he had to change his plans. Although I feel like Ethiopians would have been inferior to Vikings as well, but maybe this was sort of a scrambled plan here from Sitaux to use Khmer. So, we're going to the first home map of Sitaux, which could be Aftermath or Acclivity. We're going to Acclivity first, it looks like. As we jump into game number 2, we're gonna have Tatars for Sitaux here in yellow, and on the right side, Slam as Aztecs in red. Both of these civilizations are very good on this map, but this is one of those matchups where Aztecs should be able to dominate. So, obviously, Tatars here want to play archers, cav archer style play, but Aztecs will just go for the triple barracks eagles eventually. Slam opening with the range and eagles. That's the way that you should play Meso civs. I really appreciate that he's adding eagles at the beginning. That's the key thing when it comes to a Meso civ playing archers in Empire Wars. You want to keep adding eagles as well, because archers and eagles will always beat pure archers. So Sitaux is opening archers over here. That's somewhat unconventional. Oftentimes you see stable openings from the Tatar player over here, because eventually you want to go cav archers, and you open stable with scouts as long as you can run around and try to pick off some villagers on the walls, and then you switch into archers. Slam is walling very heavily. This was a thing for him in the previous game. That's 3, 5, 6, 7 villagers walling if I'm counting appropriately. That is a whole lot of villagers walling. You can tell that he really wants to just make sure that he's not getting overrun by scouts in this one. Whereas on the other side, you're gonna have a second range coming in here for Sitaux. So it's all about overrunning the opponent here early on. We have a Spearman added just to make sure that you can deal with that scout. But you don't overrun Aztecs with archers here, because they are gonna have their egos. Still though, Sitaux is going really aggressive in the feudal age department. Fletching, fast archer armor here as well, and double ranges. He really wants to push this gold mine. Now, truth being told, if he's capable of pushing this gold mine, Slam will be in trouble, because Aztecs without gold are just a disaster. On the other hand, Slam's counterattack here, 2 eagles, 2 archers, and the spearman, could easily force Sitaux off from gold. Sitaux is gonna have to quick wall here a little bit, but this gold mine is already very, very exposed. On the bright side of things for him, he's trying to push the gold mine of Slam. Slam is gonna defend with a couple of skirms. Looks like Slam has stopped production on every production building over here, which means that he might just try to get up to Castle Age faster over here. Here come the eagles and the archers, and that's why you make in some eagles, because they can also deal with skirmishers here. That's the first villager picked off. Not a great start here for Sitaux. On the other hand, if Slam is not cautious, he could also lose a villager or 2 over here, as now this army is being chased down. Still, Slam just wants to get up to Castle Age here. He sees that his opponent is double range archers, which means that the best way for him to play this one is going full eagles in Castle Age. I assume that the reason why Sitaux is opening ranges is because he wants to switch to knights when Slam switches to eagles, but as I said, I kind of feel like at this point, especially with Slam already being fully walled, Slam will probably just beat him to Castle Age, go triple barracks eagles, and just slam you in the face. So, double range archers still for Sitaux, but he wasn't able to inflict any kind of damage here. 1 villager was killed by Slam, that's all that happened here in feudal. That's quite a lot of villagers on the berries, but look at how nicely they fit on that single berry bush. Looks like it's a bit of a surround over here. Nice fight there for Sitaux, and keep in mind, he's got the heal bonus still. He doesn't have the free thumb ring, obviously, at this point, but he does have the heal bonus, which is still a nice thing against those eagles. The eagles are also lacking scale mail, so they die to mass archers pretty easily, and honestly, we did mention that Slam actually wants to switch into eagles and wants to get to Castle Age, but he has stopped production on his archer range for a while, and you see he's not producing anything. This could backfire, because sure thing, if you get to Castle Age and get a bunch of eagles out, this could work nicely. There's a defensive tower as well to protect the gold mine. But that's quite a lot of archers, and you see that Slam won't have a huge amount of eagles when he reaches Castle Age. He's gonna have like 5 or 6, and he's gonna need scale mail as well. If Sitaux remains active with his archers and just tries to disrupt the economy of Slam, Slam might struggle to get the upgrades for his units. Sitaux needs to press this wall most likely, or even better this part, because he needs to utilize these archers to something. He has invested a lot more into this army, and when Castle Age hits, the Aztecs will overrun you with eagles. So Sitaux, if he cannot get into the base of Slam, or at least idle a couple of villagers, like try to push this side and try to hit the gold mine from this angle, then Slam will just overrun him with eagles. You see that the eagle numbers are already getting higher and higher, and once you get to Castle Age, suddenly that production is going to be much faster. Plus you already get the extra attack on your eagles immediately upon reaching Castle Age. Obviously the ultimate goal is to get the eagle warrior and +2 defense, and then steamroll the game that way. Sitaux is adding a stable as he should, but 1 stable knights won't stop Aztec triple barracks eagles. Probably not even double stable knights here. So, archers trying to knight the wood line. So far, Slam has done a masterful job at just preserving his eco. He barely even have any idle time. As Castle Age kicks in, he will have the resources for chainmail and Eagle Warrior immediately. this is where things are getting rough for Sitaux. The good news for him is that first of all, he might get a villager pick. Talk about close calls. That's 2 villagers that almost end up dying, and this could be an almost perfect timing here for Slam, but maybe it's a bit premature. Look at this. Crossbow and Botkin are pretty fast upgrades, they will kick in a moment, and Slam doesn't have +2 defense or Eagle Warrior yet. This is not a good fight for Slam. He's throwing away his Eagles. Those crossbows do have Thumbring now, and those were Eagle Scouts without +2 defense. They did have the +3 attack here from Castle Age, but Slam should have waited a little bit more with that fight. Now he has lost quite a few Eagles, and look at this. Crossbows coming from the other side as well. Slam can't really get his Eagle numbers up high, and he's going to be forced to chase multiple armies here. No wood income for Slam from these 2 wood lines, only this one. So this is where things could get really rough for Slam. Because once a couple of knights pop out, 6 Eagles won't do much. There's a Siege Workshop, by the way, here for Slam. So there is going to be some Mangonels coming into support. But at this point, Sitaux has to do what he's doing right now. Just try to be active and use the crossbows to deny resources. He also needs to keep adding knights here to deal with the Eagles. That's probably his best shot at this point. Although I feel like here, attack upgrade would make a little bit more sense than the defense upgrade. Still, looks like Sitaux is going to regroup his army Slam with a nice ground attack on the knights in this one. That's a scary group of archers, if you ask me. 20 crossbows with Thumbring and also the heal bonus as the scout now ends up dying. We're gonna have monks being added here by Slam to convert the knights. Crossbow should be able to deal with those monks as Slam gets housed for a brief moment. At 13 Eagles he is, but he's missing the attack upgrade, so this is far from over, as we're gonna have a university from Sitaux for ballistics. Behind this one, Sitaux is also 2 TCs, by the way, so he is going to be able to take over economically. 54 to 47 villagers. Aztecs obviously want to play this very aggressive, and it looks like the monastery even gets denied. Slam now getting another Mangonel out, and he has to be very, very careful, as that Mangonel could pop out any moment and take down the crossbows. The knights were thinking about diving in on that Mangonel, but didn't end up doing so, as Sitaux just gets forced back to this hill. He is starting to play a little bit more defensive now, and switching into CA. If he gets to a good number of cav archers, then he can just tear apart the economy of Slam, and that should be the thing. Those initial cav archers should already go to raid. 2 cav archers here, 2 cav archers here, and 2 over here. This is the jackpot for Sitaux. If he ends up finding this, even just with 1 cav archer, he can idle the entire wood eco of Slam. That's what he has to work for. Looks like the skirms here will be chilling behind this wood line, but the other 2 wood lines won't really be pushed just yet. Mangonel's a little exposed, and it looks like Slam is preparing for a big fight. He has gotten forging as well on those Eagles. Knight numbers steadily increasing, so are the cav archer numbers. Sitaux has gotten the university, but no ballistics coming out of it. It looks like he can't afford it. That sometimes happens when you feel like you can afford ballistics, but then you make university and then boom, it's not a thing. Here comes the knight, they snipe the Mangonel, very nicely done over here, and now the Eagles come in. The Eagles will be running downhills, so that the dark cav archers and crossbows will be firing on the ones that are downhills. Beautiful micro here by Sitaux, although he ends up losing a couple of crossbows over here to the Mangonel shot. Big fight in this one, and I don't think this is enough for Sitaux. I don't think this is enough. He has waited a little too long for Slam to mass his Eagles, and you see that he will be forced back. Quite a few Eagles end up dying though, so this might just be a mutual annihilation sort of a thing. But it's definitely not ideal for Sitaux to be firing up hills over here. He needs to go up. He needs to use these crossbows to go down hills. Cav archers need to go up hills so that he can use the tar hill bonus. And that's where the Eagles overrunning you sort of domain starts. That's why you just don't let Vikings and Aztecs slip into the hands of the opponent at the same time, because those 2 are just so powerful civilizations. Sitaux is not dead yet though, because he's still increasing his cav archer numbers at a quite rapid pace. He has good upgrades on those. He's got bloodlines. I don't know if he has husbandry, but if he doesn't, he really needs it ASAP. His economy is also much better, but he needs something that deals with Eagles here. Like mass knights could also work, because now he's got the economy to facilitate like a triple stable knights production. Looks like he will just play with cav archers, but if he's playing with cav archers, He needs to stretch out the attention of Slam like he would be trying to do right now. Skirms here, a crossbowman here, and this, as I said, is the place where he needs to strike. Meanwhile, Slam is taking control over the ridge in the middle. Husbandry just now coming in. That's going to be crucial for those Cav Archers trying to run away from the Eagles. As, oh, look at this crossbowman. This crossbowman could do so much if Slam doesn't notice it. It doesn't seem like it's actually much, but considering how weak Slam's economy is, even just 2 or 3 villager kills is already massive, potentially denying a town center, enormous. And indeed, Slam is a little bit low on gold, because this is the final gold mine he's taking. Uh-oh, this is the problem for Slam. 13 on gold, all of this on this pile, that's about to run out. No more gold for Slam, and it's not like his ego numbers would decide the game immediately. It would be sort of a mutual annihilation thing once again, as the TC is coming up here for Slam. The real problem for Sitaux is that he never was able to actively push the eco of Slam. He tried, but sort of failed to do at any moment in this game. If he just had a couple of Cav Archers here, he would be winning the game by now. Still, that could be a good fight for Sitaux here. Tatars firing down hills, getting some nice shots in, as now the Knights take on the Eagles. Not the best fight ever for Sitaux, but he is grinding down the ego numbers, and this might be the moment for Sitaux. Because Slam can't really reinforce his Eagles right now. The Knights jump on the Mangonels, the Monks are just at a bad position, as one Mangonel goes down, the second Mangonel and the third one is also pretty close to going down. And as I said, no reinforcements on the horizon for Slam. He's down to 8 Eagles, and he's gonna call it. He's gonna call it. He tried the Eagles, and it was so close to working, but it was about the reliability of the gold income that just failed at the end. If Slam goes to the gold a little bit earlier here on the outside, Slam would have been able to sustain ego production. He needed like 10 more egos to win this fight. But obviously now, he sees that, hey, I'm gonna lose all my egos, and from this point on, those Cav Archers can just wreak havoc, because you will never be able to remass your egos again. Cav Archers will just deny the wood line, and potentially even raid the gold mine. Nice game from Sitaux over here. Also worth adding that the fact that you added the second TC helped immensely here for Sitaux. So 83 eco against 61 is also sort of a deciding factor. Nice game from our Frenchman over here, who in the end didn't feel really shaken up by the fact that he has lost Aztecs to his opponent. He had the answer with Tatars, although there were some close moments. In the end, Sitaux takes over as we go into game number 3. Game number 3 will be on the first home map of Slam, which apparently is enclosed, as we're gonna jump into game number 3. So, welcome to Enclosed. An interesting civilization matchup. We are going to take a look over here. We will have Sitaux as Saracens in blue, and on the right side, Mayans for Slam in red. We have seen Vikings. We have seen Aztecs being used. The third real powerful civilization that's available for Slam is Mayans, and this is a dream matchup for them. Mayans just annihilate the Saracens by a massive margin. But for this map, it seems like Sitaux has planned something very aggressive here. Probably Archer play is the name of the game, but there will be massive market usage, and we'll probably see fast crossbowmen into forward siege workshop style play. This map was used in previous Red Bulls, and that was the meta there, as the scout is just poking around for Sitaux. You see what Slam is doing? Immediately going for a market as well. The reason why he's doing it is because he knows that his opponent's game plan is to just go for a fast market into Castle Age as well. So, Slam probably will be selling his stone to go up. Obviously, as Sitaux is still poking on with that scout. We got Eagle King 90 with the tier 1 sub, and Super Farex at the same time with the prime sub. I appreciate you both, thank you so much. So, market coming in here for Sitaux, but I think Slam can sell his resources a little faster. This map is brand new. Okay. But we had a similar map in Red Bull 1, didn't we? Maybe it had shorefish on the outside, but I firmly remember having a similar map before. Talk about Saracens. That's Saracens for you guys. Look at that. Well, it happened. Castle Age will be coming in here for Sitaux momentarily. Yeah, I know Rock Slide, but Rock Slide was like Red Bull Wololo 3 and on. I think we had something like Red Bull Wololo 1 or so. Yeah, Blockades. I think Blockades is the map I'm thinking about. Anyways, Sitaux, as we discussed, this is not a good matchup for Saracens. So Saracens have to be really aggressive over here, as those Egos are just observing the archer range going up. This could be big. That range being delayed is pretty humongous if it actually happens, as we are gonna have double range archers soon with crossbows, and we got Hipparchoi with the 4 months of Prime Sub. I appreciate that a lot as well. Welcome everybody. So, Fletching is in for Slam. He's gonna go double range archers. The main problem with Saracen archers here is that they are not actually better than the opponent's archers, they just do better against buildings. So when you play Saracens, you're trying to get that Castle Age timing right, but with Slam also selling his resources, that obviously won't happen. So Slam is doing the right thing over here to deal with this Saracen aggression. Saracen can be a very dangerous civ to fight against if you don't know how to counter it, but Slam has a pretty reasonable response so far. Nice micro with the archer dance, and obviously replenishing those archers will be much easier with Mayans over here. The Egos do go down, but we'll probably have to see a couple of skirms mixed in here for Sitaux if he wants to guarantee a victory over here. And for Slam, every fight that's even is good, because he's gonna have a lot more efficient economy. Crossbowman coming in here for Sitaux. Fast ballistics will follow up, and that was a third range for a moment. Looks like Sitaux changes his mind. Interesting. Maybe he's thinking about the Siege Workshop now more. It could be a possibility, especially because his gold mine is very open. For Slam, he's got the berries a little bit on the front side. The gold is pretty safe though, as Crossbowman is about to come in. Nice move here from Sitaux, being able to pick off 1 or 2 crossbows before they're actually upgraded from the opponent. As he's gonna go for gold mining, obviously. This is Saracen economy. You just buy the resources that you need. So, we're gonna have 8 versus 9 crossbows over here. Archer armor is coming in for both at the same time, but ballistics is on the horizon as well for Sitaux, and that could be a nice power spike. Ballistics will be a plan for the Slam as well, but he seems to be just a little bit behind compared to Sitaux here. Sitaux obviously is gonna have to use the market pretty extensively, but that buys him some time to go for a little bit more aggressive approach, and it looks like the two armies will evade each other. So there is a chance for Slam to hit these berries, but the chance for Sitaux is also here to hit the wood line. So both players could end up losing villagers right now. The difference is that Slam probably won't have ballistics before he arrives here, so there is a better chance for Sitaux to escape. Whereas for Sitaux, he already has ballistics, so when these crossbows arrive, that's gonna be 3 dead villagers. 1, 2, 3, even 4. Beautiful for Sitaux. That was clinical precision. He also focused down the villagers that were further away first, so he can maximize his damage output. There's gonna be some defensive crossbowmen here for Slam, but that's a nice start for Sitaux there. On the other hand, this is a dream spot for Slam, and it looks like Sitaux will be lucky to spot these crossbows here on the berries. As much as Slam lost 4 wheels on the wood line, now Sitaux is gonna lose a couple here on the berries. Plus, precious reinforcements will also be intercepted. On the other hand though, Slam keeps losing villagers. What did that deer do to you, Slam? You just killed the deer. That is already value there for Sitaux. The two armies will pretty much destroy each other in this one, but oh boy, disaster. It's just gonna be mutual annihilation again. It was so good for Sitaux until this happened and Sitaux caused the GG. Fun fact, actually Slam lost more villagers than Sitaux in this one, but obviously this would have been -4 vills. Wide open gold mine, that's not something that you can play. And I mentioned this, that the two armies will pass each other, and whoever's gonna get more damage output from their crossbows is gonna win. This is the problem with Saracens. You don't have any specific bonus for your archers, so unless you can capitalize on the faster castle age, you will get beaten by any other archer civ. Obviously, getting through walls and destroying buildings with the archers is nice for Saracens, but in this matchup, you need something that just smashes archers. Yeah, I totally agree. Make no mistake, yeah, Slam lost more vills, but Sitaux had nothing left. 2 army, and that's minus 4 vills there. So Sitaux was dead here. And by the way, even after losing this gold mine is wide open. So this game was absolutely over. I think it's a bit of a civ win here as well for Slam, but that's probably, as I said, the result of the fact that Sitaux never really bothered to take away Aztecs, Mayans, or Vikings from the opponent. Slam had some of the best Empire War civilizations available in the game, because guess what? Sitaux just didn't really want to take any of those. So guess what? Now it's 2-1 for Slam. Match point for him getting into the next round. Even if he wins, he's not going to qualify immediately. He's gonna need to play a little bit more today if he actually wants to end up in the main event of Red Bull Wololo 5. So, Enclosed is a win here for Slam, and we're going to Aftermath, a map I heard that's very, very cutthroat and aggressive despite the initial look. That's going to be the second home map for Sitaux. He's got Magyars, Britons, Huns remaining. From this point on, though, I'm starting to favor the civilizations of Sitaux. He's got Magyars and Britons remaining for Habub. Both of those are reasonable civs. Britons is a civ that the GM members love to use on Habub, whereas Magyars is sort of the meta pick. And you got Huns maybe for Aftermath, because this map is very, very aggressive and cutthroat. Cav archers could be a thing, or Magyar scouts into knights could also be reasonable. Both of these civilizations are reasonable for Aftermath, whereas on the other side, I struggle to see this obvious civ pick here for Slam. Could be Teutons or Franks, maybe even Bulgarians, but at this point I'm not exactly sure where Bulgarians will go. Is Habub still censored in in-game chat? I don't know, but indeed, that map has some legacy of having its name censored as we go into the next game. Welcome to Aftermath. We are gonna have Slam as Bulgarians in red, and Sitaux will be playing yellow Magyars here. So looks like he's not gonna pull the trigger on Huns, that's gonna be Magyars. There's a lot of things about this map. For example, the trade workshops. There is free trade workshops in the middle hills, which trickle resources. One of the reasons why this map is so aggressive. It slowly gives you resources, which obviously means that you want to secure them as fast as possible, and that's why Magyars is such a good idea here. Because your scout is stronger than the opponent's scout, right? And talking about Bulgarians, the reason why you pick Bulgarians here is because you want to get a couple of men-at-arms on the field. What an interesting opening here, as you got the men-at-arms already chasing the scout of Sitaux. It's gonna be an even trade of scouts for now, but this is where the men-at-arms could actually work quite nicely. Obviously, this is sort of just an early feudal age thing for securing map control. Once you get to Castle Age, Magyars beat Bulgarians by a massive margin. Although Bulgarians do have reasonable cav archers, so technically they can play cav archers as well. But if it goes into late Imperial, obviously that's gonna be favoring the Magyars. This is a nice fight over here as well for Sitaux. Really, that extra attack on that scout matters quite a bit when it comes to securing these positions, and that's exactly what Sitaux wants to do. He takes down a villager on the right side here for Slam. Slam has already lost his initial scout, and look at what Sitaux is doing. He's just running around with infantry. Because if you actually started the takeover and you have that, as long as you are in range, you will retain possession of the building. So that's why you see that Sitaux was running around and was still winning. Now, forging is in as well for Slam, so his scouts are now even to the opponent's ones. But that was, I think, a slightly better start at the end for Sitaux. Slam now controls 2 of these trade workshops, but the scouts are coming in for Sitaux, plus double ranges. And when the ranges start to be a thing, the men-at-arms will no longer be a factor, the archers will no longer be a factor. Sitaux is going all in on the army approach, by the way. no eco upgrades whatsoever. Slam actually has just gotten double bit axe in this one. I agree that it would be cool if Capture Age would show who controls which trade workshop, but I don't think that, you know, that was part of the development plans early on, because these trade workshop features are brand new to maps as well. So maybe Capture Age team will do that for the main event. Now, the archers need to be careful here. They don't have fletching, so they can't really do much against man-at-arms, especially if they fire up hills. So they gotta be real careful over here with taking this fight. Looks like this is still a reasonable engagement here for Sitaux, though. The spearman gets a shot in, as Slam is trying to just absorb the arrow fire with the scout. But now, looks like Sitaux is taking over in the middle fight. Both players with relatively even resources right now. Man-at-arms taking a fight against the scout. That's actually pretty reasonable there for Slam. But Slam is gonna need an archer range. And the big thing that stands out right now is that you got spearmen and you got men-at-arms coming out from Slam from the barracks and scouts from the stable. But it's only 2 production buildings. Compare it to Sitaux, who's got 3 already. Stable with cheap scout production plus archer ranges. That's a nice combination here. Slam still controls 2 trade workshops, and you only have 1 for Sitaux here. But Sitaux had better production in the last couple of minutes, so that's why he's sort of taking over the middle of the map. Bloodlines coming in though for Slam, and that's where the scouts start to become powerful. +1/+1 bloodlines. Suddenly 2 spearmen won't be enough to stop them, and this is where Sitaux could easily get surprised. His scouts are lacking armor. Oh boy, that's a disaster though. I'm not sure if Slam has actually seen that hole, and it's just left there because they didn't have time to wall it, or what, but this could be a massive blunder here for Slam. He might be forced to take this fight now, even if he didn't want to. Looks like he's jumping on the reinforcing archers with the scouts, but you see, he has to do a mass migration, and that's never good. So that's gonna be a lot of idle time. It looks like he's going to turn the defensive into an offensive, going to tower the wood line of Sitaux. Sitaux's got another wood line over here, but this is the #1 wood line over here. Slam wants to finish this set over here, and he might have the tools to do that because those bloodline scouts are really powerful. On the other hand, if this tower fails for whatever reason, that's a game over for Slam, and it very much seems like the tower is going up. The scouts from Slam will go down though. Oh, this is so dicey. I feel like this is enough for Slam. This is enough for Slam here. That Bloodline's timing was crucial, and it looks like maybe Sitaux has invested a little too much into the archer play, and if he is going a little bit heavier on scouts, then it could have actually changed things. Now, it's tower versus tower. The scouts are thinking about jumping the tower, and now Slam is the one with consistent scout production over here, and those scouts will really start to swing the battle in his favor with Bloodlines and +1/+1. Sitaux, only 1 stable still, but more importantly, lacking upgrades on his scouts, and he's gonna lack mobility for such an aggressive and cutthroat map now. I wouldn't be surprised to see those scouts now trying to jump the gold mine. Some of them are pretty weak though, so there is still a hope here for Sitaux to hold. He's gonna take down 2 scouts, but now archers reinforcing as well. As really, indeed, losing this scout war with mightier, cheaper scouts against Bulgarians is not something that you should ever see. By the way, part of the reason why Slam is just so much ahead is that KD. Look at that kill death ratio. 45 to 25 is enormous. And I think that after this fight, Sitaux is gonna tap out. Slam has played with surgical precision in this set so far. Really, barely anything to criticize from his end. He is looking like a real candidate to qualify for Red Bull Wololo 5, I'm not gonna lie. And the thing is that maybe the memes of Tournament Slam are gonna be gone now. Sitaux is still going to try, obviously, but from this point on, I feel like it's just a matter of 1 fight over here, and that fight may be happening right now. Quick walls coming in here from Sitaux. As you see, tower is still up, by the way, as Sitaux has lost his own tower. The scouts from this point on will just harass the hell out of Sitaux's base. So you're just gonna run in, take down a couple of villagers on the stone. You see, Sitaux is mining stone so that he can actually counter tower, but it is gonna be the situation of forever feudal for Sitaux here. Slam is already clicking up to Castle Age, and do you know what Bulgarians have for Castle Age? Kreposts. I wouldn't be surprised to see a forward Krepost if Slam reaches Castle Age. By the way, Slam has all 3 of these trade workshops, which obviously give him a very, very nice trickle of resources. So part of the reason why it hurts so much for Sitaux to lose this much map control is because there is absolutely no resource income from Sitaux from these trade workshops. Still though, you gotta be careful if you're Slam, because oftentimes clicking up to the next age makes you quite vulnerable to just superior amounts of units. Looks like Sitaux is once again mixing in Scout. The only win condition I see here for Sitaux is that he needs to start killing Slam actively here. Another thing that we haven't talked about is that Slam had an awful lot of TC idle time. So one of the reasons why he was able to get such a big army out is because he barely invested into vills. 5 minutes of TC idle time at this stage is brutal. So the thing is that if Slam, like, he's gonna get to Castle Age, and the problem is for Sitaux is that he isn't. On the other hand, Sitaux still has the better economy by a massive margin, so Slam needs to be cautious here, especially because he's very heavy on scouts. He's a second stable, so there will be knights. Sitaux needs to start flooding spearmen here, probably trying to stonewall these sections, honestly, but yeah. Oh no! The tilt! The tilt! The tilt! It doesn't matter that Sitaux has the better eco, he probably doesn't know that, because Slam reaching Castle Age is the end here for Sitaux. He knows exactly he will never get to Castle Age over here. That's a G on the chat, and with 3 trade workshops, Slam might be able to afford having less villagers. In fact, this is why Slam was just idling his TC. This is the first time when I saw this map, so I also need to learn this. It apparently seems like it's alright to idle your TC if you can actually compensate with the trade workshops. You cannot revolt the destroyed wall areas. Ah! That makes it much harder. So, here's the deal. In this case, indeed, Sitaux had 0 win condition because the trade workshops compensate Slam for having a lower economy. Obviously, there is Castle Age. The big thing, I believe, for Sitaux was that he tried to go archers, and Bloodlines is such a powerful upgrade in Feudal Age in these Scout Wars. So, the timing of that fight, where he was able to take down the majority of the archers, was crucial. From that point on, he just had a massive force of scouts. Obviously, mobility advantage is a factor when it comes to being able to push the stone miners, gold miners, lumberjacks. This tower was a crucial move, I would say, for Slam, solidifying his control over the middle, plus denying this wood line. And just small details like this one, for example, for Slam. We didn't even see this archer here. This archer is just perfect to harass Sitaux here. Sitaux had a good set, I would say, but I just feel like he was outdrafted. Because Bulgarians feels like a very good civilization for this map, and other than that, he had Mayans, Aztecs, and Vikings. Absolute top tier Empire War civilizations. I said at the beginning that I feel like Sitaux had a way weaker draft than Slam, and it looks like it materialized. Slam taking over Sitaux 3-1. He is going to play later today in the upcoming rounds to have a shot at qualifying. In fact, his opponent, I believe, is going to be Fire, right? Yeah, his opponent is gonna be Fire. Slam is gonna have to beat Fire to get there, and then the winner of Bhakti versus Barls to qualify. Based on how well he actually played, I would say that Slam has all the tools he needs to get into the main event of Red Bull Wololo 5. If he actually continues to play the same way he did in this set, then he's gonna have a very, very good shot at qualifying. Congrats to Slam, but there is more to come from him as well.